Boys, welcome back to another video. Today I have a lovely guest, the wonderful, the awesome Rabid Beaver with me. And today we're going to be talking about mistakes that everyone makes pre-level 85 in Galaxy of Heroes. I'm going to start off with the first one, and Beaver's going to interrupt me probably multiple times because I'm sure I'm going to miss stuff. And so the first one I'm going to talk about is not claiming your bonus energy. You get bonus energy 3 times a day, and you get your first one, assuming your resets at midnight at noon, your whatever your time is. Then you get another one at 6 o'clock when your arena pays out, and then you get another one usually at 9 o'clock. That's all assuming your refresh is at midnight, whatever your local time is.
Important little really quick, important little thing. If you ever need to, you twice a year you can actually switch out when your refreshes are. So that way, if you want to do your stuff before bed, you can set your refresh to right before you go to sleep and that kind of thing. So feel free to do that and get it so that way your energy refreshes are at a point where you can log in, like during your lunchtime at work or whatever you might be.
Yeah, so you'll see here mine. I have mine set to reset at 9 p.m. instead of midnight. And the reason I do that is because, again, I like to get all my dailies done before I go to bed because that's when I'm decompressing. That's when I have the most time to play. And so that works a lot better for me than having my reset at midnight and then trying to do it in the morning or sometime then. So whatever works best for you, but keep in mind that will also change when your bonus energy pays out. So keep that in mind, figure out a time that works best for you. And also, another thing with this, it does change with daylight savings. So the reason I've used both of mine is because I just had daylight savings time and I wanted it at 9 o'clock and it shifted to 10 o'clock when daylight savings happened. So just keep that in mind. Whatever your local time is, you can always reset it here. Again, that's just settings and then time settings. And that's going to also change your bonus energy. And the whole reason we want that extra bonus energy is because it's going to give you extra experience every single day. So the first bonus energy you get in the day gives you 45 regular energy, Cantina energy, and mod energy. I'd argue that's the most important one to get because it gives you 3. So that's an additional 135 energy. Then you get another 45 for ship and normal at your second refresh of the day or your second bonus energy. So there's another 90 on top of that. So now you're at 225. And then an additional 45 normal energy at your last bonus energy. So you're getting up to, 270? And so that's an extra 270 energy a day. That is extremely helpful to help you get all of your farms done quicker.
Which, if I'm calculating that correctly, that's what, like 7% of your overall level 1 to 85 that you're losing out on?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's over like 100 days. That's almost base, right? Yeah. 270 energy a day over 100 days is like 10% almost of your energy or experience needed to go all the way from 185. That's a lot of energy or a lot of experience.
Oh, yeah. And kind of going along with that whole idea of, getting that bonus energy comes just the web store in general. You want to make sure that you take the time to link your account as early as you can to the web store that they have. So they started doing this only in the last, year or so, where they added in a web store, and it has some deals that are supremely just okay in general. But if you link your account that you have with your Galaxy of Heroes to the online store, they also do a free chest every day that gives some energy, gives some shards, gives quite a few different cool things. As well as gives you, they do some fun promo things. Like right now they're doing some training droids that you get for free to help you level things up. They also do a bonus calendar every month, so don't skip out on, getting free shards from a bonus calendar, free Zetas, free crystals. So definitely something to go check out.
Yes. So if we look at the bonus calendar, at least just the bonus calendar, not even looking at anything else, we've got 500 million, 2 million credits, 1 Zeta. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Omegas. I mean, this is not like chump change of stuff for the month, especially playing free to play.
Oh yeah, and like depending on, they like to flavor calendars in general, but depending on the month, you can get some really cool characters. Just some shards towards them. Like Cal Kestis is still a newer character, and we're getting shards towards Cal Kestis, which is super nice.
Yeah. And then in the daily packs that you get from the web store, you get a bunch of different things that are helpful, but one of them is energy, which again, we just talked about. Extra energy means leveling up faster. So 50 to 100 of either mod, ship, normal, or cantina energy. And then 100,000 credits every single day, which that's amazing. That's 3 million credits a month.
Yeah,
which
credits are painful.
If you, yes, if you've ever done the 1 to 85 grind, you know how painful getting credits can be. Even just looking at my account here, I have so many characters that I'm working on that all need to come up to level 85, and those last 5 levels are so expensive to level up. I mean, I can't quite go to level 85 yet, but just 80 to 84 costs me 1.2 million credits. So I imagine that'll be close to like 1.6 by the time I'm trying to go to 85.
Yeah, it's what, 6.8 million per character for level 1 to 85. So you're always going to be running out of money.
Yes, eventually that does go away once you get into the later game, but early game, very hard to get credits. So another way to get some bonus energy to help us level up faster, because the whole point of the 1 to 85 grind is to get to level 85. And the easiest way, I think, to do that is to spend your crystals on energy refreshes. Now, even past level 85, this is still the best way to spend your crystals. But especially 1 to 85, we really want to focus on spending our crystals on energy refreshes. And I would say energy refreshes only. Unless, Beaver, you have another way that you would want to spend crystals, but I can't think of another one pre-85.
Yeah, pre-85, it is 100% the best way to spend your crystals. I do, just 3 refreshes a day, and that's how I spend my crystals every day on my free-to-play account. It's just the best thing you can do.
And that's the same thing I do. I do my normal energy because I have a ton of hard nodes I am working through. But I know some people have a lot of Cantina farms they're working on, so I'll never shame anyone for spending the 100 crystals on some Cantina refreshes. Just keep in mind they're more expensive than the normal energy. I don't see a real reason to refresh your mod energy pre-level 85. Same thing with ships, unless you have a lot of fleet farms that you're trying to do. But again, these are really the only thing you should be spending your crystals on, because it gets you to level 85 faster. Gets you to the start of the game faster, basically.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about energy and how to spend your energy, and especially getting more normal energy. And I think one of the best places to spend your normal energy on is obviously farming characters, but I want to highlight a few things, characters and ships that you spend normal energy on that I think are most important in the early game. And that's going to be your dark side ships. For those of you that don't know, you need, is it 6 dark side ships at 5 stars for the Zeta event, I believe?
Yeah, it's 6. I can double check. I just unlocked it.
There will be a giant disclaimer on the screen if I'm wrong on that.
Fair.
But I'm pretty sure it's 6 5-star dark side ships in order to unlock the Zeta challenge at level 78. I want to say it is. 78 that you unlock that. And there's a lot of different options to get for dark side ships, but I want to highlight your bounty hunter ships as the best option to go for early. And now you can't go for all of them quite early, but I know IG-2000 you can get quite early. It's on light side 6E, which if we look, light side level 6 unlocks at level 54, so that's pretty early. And then also Cad Bane's ship, Xanadu Blood, which unlocks at 8B, so a little bit later. I think we said that's level 78? 74? 74. And that's also where you unlock Bosk's ship, the Houndstooth. Houndstooth is, I would argue, the best ship in the game still.
Yeah.
Especially in the early game.
Yeah, as a ship in general, it is the best plug-and-play viable ship. You can plug it into any fleet. Way back when the meta was basically, where can you hide the Houndstooth to screw with your opponent? So,
absolutely. It's still, I think, the best ship in the game. So great option for 3 ships. Chances are you won't be able to get Xanadu Blood or Houndstooth up to 5 stars in time for the Zeta Challenge. So make sure you focus on IG 2000 early. I had IG 2000 at 5 stars in time for the event. Another good one that you can get from hard nodes, I think, is the Vulture Droid. You get that on the same node that you get Iden Versio, which is nice because Iden Versio is very important, as we're going to talk about later. But I can't find Imperial Troopers because I don't know how the alphabet works. You can get Iden Versio, which is a great character, and the Vulture Droid, which is a great ship to have very early on. Now, I stopped farming these because I got some other ships, but if you're going for Executor or if you're going for Malevolence, basically, if you're going for any Dark Side team, Iden's going to be great on it, and you get Vulture Droid all in the same node. TIE Silencer, which you get from Cantina with Kylo Ren Unmasked, is another great option, as well as TIE Fighter Pilot with his ship, just the TIE Fighter.
Yep.
But the best option for Dark Side ships early is going to be your Geo ships. I have Sunfac at 6 stars, Soldier at 5, and Spy at 5, could go to 6 right now. These are some of the great early game ships that you can get. Geo ships become a amazing tool. Their offensive viability is great, and if you end up farming both the Bounty Hunter ships and the Geo ships, you end up with a great offensive fleet and a great defensive fleet for early in the game. And once you hit GAC, you're going to need both.
Oh yeah, and those Geos, they're super easy. You can get basically all of them from the Fleet Arena store. Both the characters as well as the ships show up in a lot of the stores, and so it's really easy to get the shards. You can also farm a couple of them on nodes, and so you'll see, TIE Fighter and these Geonosian ones show up quite a bit. Super easy to farm early on. This is what I used to get through, and with my Geonosians at gear 10, I was able to get 3 stars on the Zeta event just this last week, and helping my account great. So
oh yeah, if you think about it, is it 6 Zetas a week? So every week that you miss out on that challenge, you're missing out on 6 Zetas.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty significant. So make sure you get that done as soon as possible. Also, Geoships can show up in the Galactic War store. So if you see them there, that's honestly probably the easiest place to farm them, in my opinion. That in the Fleet Arena store. So if you see those, don't be afraid to pick them up if you're done with some of your other Galactic War farms. But keep in mind, it's not the only place you can farm them. So if you see them in Fleet Arena, no big deal to pick them up there. I will say Sunfac is the hardest one to find, in my opinion. He for some reason just doesn't show up very often in Galactic War, and very rarely shows up in Fleet Arena too. So if you see like Soldier and Sunfac in the same Fleet Arena store and you only have enough for one, I would say pick up Sunfac, just because it's a little harder to get, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's on my because he's one of the few ones that has a node. He's on my permanent list of just farming until he's 7 star.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you can do you get a few shards a day from farming him on his ship node, which I'm doing the same thing. Sunfac is right here. He's favorited because I'm farming him every day. And so that's why he's actually a little further along than some of my other Geos, because I've been farming him from his node. Next.
Yeah, so kind of going back to those bounty hunter ships just in general, not only are you getting bounty hunters up for the fact that you get ships, which is great, but your bounty hunters are super important in so many different ways. I've heard a lot of people regret not getting their bounty hunters up early, especially a Bosk bounty hunter team. Bosk gives so much to this team in ways of covering health and protection for a lead, and he's just really great for everything. Complex kit, I'm not going to get into it right now, but Bosk is your best friend, and just getting a bounty hunter team is going to give you Credit Heist team, because Credit Heist comes around every about 14 days, and Credit Heist can give you up to 7 million credits, 5 million credits, whatever it might be. It's RNG dependent, but you're getting between 4 and I think it's 4 and 7 million credits every time.
I think if you're really lucky, you can actually get 10.
You get 10?
But
yeah, one of these days I'll
I don't think
pull that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and so
you'll usually get around 5-ish.
Yeah, like the average that I get is 5 million, which 5 million credits every 14 days is so incredibly helpful. Plus, those bounty hunters are some of your pilots, and they're also required for a whole bunch of different events. You've got like all kinds of bounty hunting events where you can get shards for things like special characters like Wampa and that kind of stuff, as well as shards for other characters that are less important like Holdo. But regardless, free shards is free shards, so take it while you can.
100%. And keep in mind, you probably won't be able to get Bosk until level 85. Just because his node is locked behind Darkside level 9, which you don't unlock until 85. But there are plenty of good bounty hunters that you can gear up. Keep in mind that Boba, IG-88, Cad Bane, and Bosk are all pilots. So really, you'll never regret gearing them up. Even though IG-88 and Cad Bane aren't the greatest on their own, gearing them up just for their ships is really worth it. So even if it's an unconventional bounty hunter team, some of the bounty hunters that I personally like, I love Boba. Boba's great. Django you're going to get if you're farming Houndstooth, so might as well farm him. Grief and Mando are another great two. And then, again, IG-88 and Cad Bane work great because of the fact that they're pilots. And they're both really easy to farm. So really doesn't matter what bounty hunters you go for. Almost every bounty hunter, I think, in the game is worthwhile, aside from maybe Dad Bod Boba. But
fair.
there's certainly a lot of different combos you can use. So just get a bounty hunter team, use it to clear credit heists. There's also training droid heist, but if you're playing free to play, training droids are never going to be a problem. But there's a lot of events that come up that you need bounty hunters or scoundrels for, and luckily every bounty hunter pretty much has the scoundrel tag on them. I don't think there's an exception to that.
I don't think so either.
So farm your bounty hunters, very important.
Yeah, and along with those, farming the bounty hunters, it kind of just makes sense to talk about the fact that, you got to be checking where you can farm stuff. And so every time you're leveling up, make sure you're checking your hard nodes in general. Because, I've played the game before. I know where to find Bosk. But you probably don't know a lot of what you're looking for. And so each time you level up, you'll hit points where you're, going into hard nodes. And you're like, okay, so I can get characters from here. But you need to find the characters that you want to use. And not only is it important to know where they are. So, you could just look it up and see where Bosk is, but if you play through these, you also get achievements that will give you crystals if you finish these, and you get crystals for finishing them as well as some shards. And so every time you level up, check to see what hard nodes you've got unlocked, so that way you can see what extra crystals you can make, as well as what characters you can start farming, because you might be at a point where you can start farming Houndstooth, one of the best ships in the game, or Bosk, and you don't know because you haven't gone through and played through the event. Yeah, so right here you get 5 crystals for finishing a normal, and then on the hard ones you get 15 crystals plus some Vader shards, which Vader's always amazing, so never skimp out on those Vader shards.
Yeah, and speaking of Vader, he's one of the best characters for you to get, especially in the early game, and it's going to take a while to get him just from achievements. So what I always recommend new players do is they come over to your Fleet Arena store as soon as you unlock it at level 60, and you check to see if Vader shows up here. He has a pretty slim chance of showing up, but he does show up in here from time to time, as well as a couple of other farms that are almost exclusive to the Fleet Arena store. So another one is Vader's ship, TIE Advanced. It always shows up in this first slot in Fleet Arena, so if it's there, it'll be here. Same with Razor Crest. It only shows up here, and as well as General Grievous. If you see any of those 4 in Fleet Arena, you need to pick it up. I usually keep some extra Fleet Arena currency on hand just in case some of those show up, because even if you're not planning on going for General Grievous early, even if you're not planning on going for Executors, you don't necessarily need Razor Crest, I still recommend you come in here and you look for any of those 4 and get them. The reason is because if you don't do it in the early game, you'll be forced to do it in the later game when you're strapped for Zetas, and you'd much rather spend your Zetas on the characters the teams that you're working on. Or God forbid you forget to go get Razor Crest, and now you're trying to go for Executor, and you've got everything done, and then you realize, oh, I don't even have Razor Crest unlocked, and then you have to spend 4 or 5 months waiting for this to refresh in order to get Razor Crest.
I have gone through hundreds of accounts at this point on my channel, and one of the most common things I see is, you know, someone's geared up and ready, they have a whole lot of the requirements for Executor kind of started, and it's like it would be a great farm for them, but I'm like, but you also only have 100 shards for Razor Crest, and so that means you're going to take forever getting Razor Crest. So go do this while you wait to get your Razor Crest. Having it ready to go for whenever you have time to farm Executor is one of the best things you could do for your account.
Yeah, so on this account, I'm not even going for Executor first anymore, thanks to you guys, and I still have 112 shards for Razor Crest already, and I still continue to pick up these shards because I just want to have them ready. I'm not going to get banned anytime soon, so I'm not even going to be able to activate the ship. But if I just have 330 shards of Razor Crest sitting on the side, I am never going to be upset about that because I'll just be able to activate the ship and go for the event when I'm ready to go for it. Real quick on that same note, I mentioned General Grievous as an option to farm there too. That is the place to farm General Grievous. Do not waste your shard shop currency on General Grievous shards. This is a terrible deal over here. 2,250 shard shop currency for 5 Grievous shards, not worth it. Don't spend them here. Just get them from Fleet Arena. Even if you need General Grievous early on, he can work at 5 stars. Just wait. Just be patient. You'll get him.
But yeah, so really quick, so we're kind of shifting away from the fleets. We've talked a lot about fleets, a lot about that kind of stuff. Shifting away, there is one of the most important parts of your just overall economy in this game, and that's Galactic War. You need a Galactic War team ASAP. This comes like before a farming plan, before anything else. You need something that can take on Galactic War and take it on easily, because yes, a lot of teams can take this on, but you want one that takes it on easily, something you can hit auto and forget, because Galactic War is fun and it's great at the beginning of the game as you're learning how to play and you can really get your teams down and that kind of thing, but it gets to a point where you just need to get through this. You need the credits, you want the shard shop currency from it, you want to get those characters from Galactic War shop. You need to get through it as much as you can every single day. You're missing out on 600,000, credits every single day. You're missing out on all these characters. So you want to get through this easily, you need a team, whether it be Iden-led Imperial Troopers, whether it's, a new Gunray team, whether it's Krex with the Phoenix, just a team that has a lot of versatility, a lot of ability to bounce back from battles and gain health and protection, and just like a team that you can just hit auto and let it go. It's vitally important.
Yeah. Health and protection recovery are really important. One thing I will say is if you are using troopers, Dark Trooper regains all 4 stacks no matter what he left the battle with, which is something I noticed when I was playing, and it really helped me early game. So I had Piet and Dark Trooper. I would mark Dark Trooper every time. Didn't matter if he got down, because he would just regain all 4 stacks in the next battle anyways. Another tip I have for Galactic War, somebody told me this actually this week, is a lot of people know you can preload your team's turn meter. So, right, I've already cleared my last battle. If I enter this battle with this team, you'll notice that I already have turn meter on my entire team. They've already, because of the last battle, whatever turn meter they had, they'll continue to have in the next battle. So I will almost always outspeed my enemy team. So you'll see I have turn meter on everybody. And what somebody told me recently is you can actually do this with multiple teams. So what I do is, just in case I end up losing a battle and I don't realize it because I was on auto, I take my secondary team, which for me is my bounty hunters, and I usually preload this in one of the first nodes. And what that does is, if I'm later on and my team gets killed for whatever reason, I can actually use my secondary team and have it preloaded, which will make the battle a ton easier. So now this team will be preloaded when I go into, if I finish this battle, this team will have whatever turn meter they have at the end of this battle in the next time I use them. And it doesn't have to just be on the next node. It can be way later on like the last node if it's like a really strong team for whatever reason. So keep that in mind. If you're kind of struggling with Galactic War, you're not getting through all of them, preload 2 teams at the first 2 battles and then auto the rest of the way through it. And then at least you have a second team that's already preloaded on turn meter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that's really technical, but
it's still
it's something helpful.
Yeah, like I've never even thought about doing that, and I love that idea. It's super helpful.
Uh, Speaking of uh, teams and making sure that you're farming things that are efficient, I will say getting a farming plan in place early on is really important. And having half-finished farms will definitely hurt your roster. So my account is a victim of this because I let you guys vote on what I'm farming on my free-to-play account, and so we pivoted pretty hard into something else. So you'll see I have my Imperial Troopers team, who is all kind of like 6 stars, half farmed, half leveled. This team isn't very useful for me anymore. And if I had continued to level them and continued to gear them, they would be a lot better than they are. Now, I don't regret anything because I'm a man of the people and we'll take whatever you guys voted on. But if you can, pick something early on and stick with it. An easy way to do this is obviously there's a ton of guides out there about free-to-play farming plans and all of that. But honestly, if you just go to the journey guide and focus on completing a few of these journeys, you'll be in a pretty good spot by the time you hit 85. Tiers 1 through 3, I believe, can all be completed pre-level 85. Not to say that they're all easy to complete pre-level 85, but taking care of Emperor Palpatine early, getting some Rebels, getting R2 early, and getting CLS and Padme early, all great great farms to do early on.
Important.
And so just have
really quick side note when it comes to those going through those legendaries and finishing your farms. Going through those legendaries, each level on the early ones gives crystals as well, and so even if you can only do like the first tier, it's worth going in and doing the tiers that you can do and completing the tiers that you can do, because you'll get crystals out of doing these.
Yeah, I was trying to see if it showed you the...
Yeah, all the way down, right there. Yep. So you get crystals as well as the credits to level up the character. So if it's a character you're not planning on leveling up, you can leave the character at the level that you got him at, and then use these credits on other things as well, too.
And 50 crystals is nothing to scoff at, especially because you get them for every single tier.
Mm-hmm.
It's 50 crystals on every single tier for most legendaries. I don't know any that don't have this 50 crystals. So, I mean, that's an extra 350 crystals for going through the Yoda event. Plus, a lot of these have achievements associated with them, too. So, I know I got Vader shards for getting R2 to 7 stars. I think you get Vader shards for getting Palpatine to 7 stars as well. So, all achievement rewards are really good for those as well.
Absolutely.
I think the last thing we want to talk about is guilds. I'll start off by saying leave your starter guild. The game will automatically put you in a starter guild when you first unlock guilds. And the first thing I would say that you need to do is get out of that starter guild, because starter guilds are not very good.
Oh yeah, it's just a whole bunch of people who are unsure if they want to play the game or not, and they're not really involved with the game fully yet. And so getting out of that and getting to any guild is going to be amazing. Obviously, you can go through the search engine here and see if you can find one to join. Honestly, it's a little hard to do a lot of times, because a lot of times you'll find ones that are closed, or you can't get into them until you're level 85, things like that. And the search engine works okay. And so, honestly, if I were to suggest a way to get out of your starter guild, it's 100% going to Discord. Arnold has a Discord. I have a Discord. There's a lot of Discords out there. There's SWGOH Events Discord. All kinds of Discords you can go to. They all have a section for finding a new guild. And you can just type in, hey, this is my guild, or this is my account. This is where I'm at. This is what I plan on. And a lot of times they'll just get picked up by someone. When I did that, I got a whole bunch of offers. So...
Oh, yeah. Go to any Discord, basically, for any SWGOH creator, and I'm sure they have a Guild Recruits channel. And the SWGOH Events one, I think, is the biggest, technically, so if you want the most, you can just go to that Discord, but everyone has one. The thing that they're going to be looking for when you try to get into a guild is, one, your roster, but you can't really help how big your roster is, other than just time. The biggest thing that guilds want from you, in the early game especially, is over here in the guild activities, getting your 600 tickets every day. And what this means is it's just spending 600 energy. Any kind of energy, doesn't matter what it is, as long as you spend 600, you're basically earning your way to doing another raid with your guild. Now, some guilds care about these challenges, but most guilds I've seen, as long as you get these 600 tickets a day, and you're somewhat similar in roster to the rest of the people in the guild, they're not going to have any qualms about you being there. In fact, there are guilds that are doing way above what you want, that just want people to fill those slots to get 600 tickets a day. Now, I wouldn't recommend going and getting into a guild that's like way above where you're at, because you're not going to be able to participate in events and it's probably going to kill some of your enjoyment. But you should be able to get into a guild clearing at least Darkside Geos and the Sith Triumphant raid, if not Speeder Bike, honestly, because most people have cleared Sith Triumphant at this point. But at the bare minimum, Darkside Geos and Sith Triumphant, day one. The first day you unlock guilds, you can get into a guild doing both of those things.
Especially if you have the other part that a lot of those guilds are looking for, which is the desire to work with your guild, specifically getting yourself the Geonotions. You're going to be working on them as some of your first pilots anyways, getting them leveled up for that. The Geonotions in general are Gear 11, Gear 12 is where you need them to help out your guild. And so if you tell a guild, if you're like looking for a guild and you're just like, hey, this is my level, this is what I'm working on, but I intend on getting Watt ready Geos, meaning getting the Geonotions up to the point where they can do the Watt Tambor mission, that immediately makes a guild be like, okay, yeah, we'll take you on because you're willing to not only help the guild, but you have a plan to get these characters up.
Yeah, and that's not a crazy investment. Gear 12 across the board, and you can get through it with some good mods and knowing the strategy. I have Gear 12 Geos on my main. I have never taken them to relics, and I have only failed the Watt mission one time, and that's because I forgot to redo my mods. So just keep in mind that it's not like some huge investment to go get Watt ready Geos.
No,
it's Gear 12, which is what you need to get all of your abilities on your pilots anyways, and they're a really good team. So if we hop into my territory war that we're doing right now on the greatest free-to-play guild of all time,
I'm glad you're doing this, not me. My guild get pissed at me.
Oh, I'm the leader, so nobody can get pissed at me.
Fair.
You'll see that, well, Wookiees are getting holds because Wookiees are Chads. I think it's a Sun. Nope, not that Geo team. That Geo team didn't hold. One of our Geo teams already held a battle. And that's because I think a lot of new players don't know how to fight Geos. And also, it's kind of a finicky battle because you're taking the balanced health between everybody. And it really can be a struggle for some people. So you'll see this team, without even a Zeta, already is people are dropping battles against. And so a lot of people obviously have figured out the counters for it. But I think it's a solid team to throw on defense in Carbonite. You're not going to... it's not going to hold every single time, but you'll have people that screw up against it. They try to do their Vader solo and maybe don't have enough tenacity, get ability blocked and screw it up, or people who don't have Treya, don't have what would just immediately kill your team. And so I really don't think it's a bad investment to just go get your Geos. You get a great fleet, and then you can take them on offense too and clear a lot of teams that you can punch up a lot with Geos on offense if the team doesn't have something to handle you, basically.
Yeah, and not only are they pilots, which means no matter how high you get them, it's not going to be a problem. High relic Geos will also take down a Galactic Legend if they're by themselves, so you can clean up Galactic Legends in the end game. And so I'm not saying invest a ton into them. I still haven't invested a ton into them, but like I have a Relic Geonosian Brood Alpha on my main account, and I use that with my Sith Eternal to make it so that way I can counter certain teams. Or, you know, if I'm going up against something and I'm like, oh, it's just one guy left, I can throw him in and take something out. And so they're really, really versatile in a bunch of different ways. You're not going to regret leveling them up once 100%.
Yeah, not at all. And then, obviously, even if you're not using them with Malevolence off the start, eventually you'll unlock Malevolence, which is Grievous's capital ship, and paired... Whoops. Oh, I can't even buy Malevolence.
Yeah, not until you hit level 85. It's unfortunate.
But the Separatist fleet has a chance at beating Profundity on when Profundity's set on defense. So, not a fleet to scoff at by any means. So work on your Geos. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be your first farm. You don't have to take them to Gear 12 as your first Gear 12s, but just get their shards when you can. If you can't get them from Cantina, their shards as well as their ships show up in Fleet Arena. So you can get them both from here, and you can just farm them up that way. Sunfac is in the guild store, so you can get him there, which is an even easier place to get him. So just keep that in mind. Geos are going to be really good early on. And hopefully some or all of these tips helped you out for those that are pre-level 85. I know this is a bit of a longer video, but if you follow those tips, I think you'll be in a really good spot by the time you hit 85. We are frustratingly close to level 85 on this account, and so I'm really hoping that I can share the knowledge I have learned and the mistakes I have made on not only this account but other accounts I have leveled to 85, and hopefully avoid you guys making the same mistakes.
Yeah, level 1 to 85 definitely is the tutorial, and the real game opens up once you hit level 85. And so if you can be prepared for when you hit that level 85, that's really what's important, because, you know, up until level 85, you're gate-kept from a lot of different things. Farming the characters that are the best characters, you know, you can't get Houndstooth till way down the road, things like that. It's difficult, but then as soon as you hit level 85, you immediately have access to the Grand Arena Championship, and you immediately are going to be thrown into that mess. And so you got to have at least something started for that feature, just to be able to compete somewhat and get a good crystal income. And so, you know, having good fleets, having a good geo team, and just, you know, having a good galactic war team already, you're going to have some solid teams and some solid fleets built up for that Grand Arena, which is the primary way that you get crystals post level 85. So yeah, prepare now, don't suffer.
Yes, do the work on the front end, so that way later on you're not having to suffer. If you guys have any other tips that we didn't mention, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll like any ones and heart any ones that I agree with. And if you don't get a heart, I probably don't agree with your advice.
It means that we will meet at noon the next day and fight to the death.
Yes, 100%. And also, guys, go check out Rabid Beaver's channel. It's going to be linked in the description. You have anything you want to plug?
No, I mean, I stream all my Grand Arenas. If you want to come watch me rage, I raged so hard this week in Grand Arena. But most of the time, it's just a chill time. We have some music that we play, and we have some fun times. But if you need guides, my channel is mostly what I do is guides for different events, especially for light speed bundles. So, yeah.
And you have a free-to-play account that is somewhat approaching level 85, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And so
it's getting there. It's getting there.
We're both fresh on this experience.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you stopping by the channel. And I appreciate everybody that stopped by to watch. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.